Hey everyone, just thought I'd share something else I'm working on right now. So we've been talking about bollock bands for a little while, and that's a really great seems to be a really great indicator for doing infrequent trades, say 2 to 4 trades a month. But I think a lot of us are looking to do more frequent trades, and a lot of us are doing these sort of 0.05 and 0.10 swaps, smaller swaps, but much more frequently, sometimes one a day. So just been looking at ways to kind of improve the ability to make successful trades on those kind of time frames. So when I was going back through some of James's old videos, I noticed that in this video from about 4 years ago, he mentions his RSI and MACD settings. So these are pretty simple trading tools that people use. And you can see here RSI 10 he uses, and for the MACD, he uses 821 and 5. So what I've done is I've create this, or I've customized this tool combining RSI and MACD, so you can see the same settings here, 821, 10. Um, and well, I've modified it a little bit, but basically, what it does is instead of having two different settings or two different indicators for RSI and MACD, it combines those two indicators into one indicator and creates a single composite score for both of those indicators together. So when the RSI and MACD both say the same thing, or both when they're in agreement with each other, then the line will go to the top or the bottom of this range. So this indicator, by the way, is called Bollock Scalper. And so what you can then do is you can use it to help you make good decisions when to swap between MicroStrategy and Tesla. And this is on the 30-minute time frame. This is what I'm testing it on right now, and that gives you kind of a trade basically every day, maybe sometimes a couple a day. So yeah. Also, what it does is you can see these red and green lines. So these are like the threshold. So when the Bollock signal score goes above zero point 0.3 or below zero point 0.3, that tells me that basically is what causes these signals to fire. So you can see, yeah, like I said, this is the line here, zero point 0.3 and minus zero point 0.3. And so when this line drops below the line, it fires a signal. When it goes above the line, it fires a signal. Um, and the way that I've set this indicator up is so that so you can see here, for example, the line is traveling and it hits the line here. So you would expect the swap signal to be fired here, but the way this indicator is designed is that it waits until it keeps on going until it hits a point where it detects a change in the trend, and then when it starts heading back again, that's when it fires a signal. So you basically capture hopefully it will capture these pico moments where it's sort of optimal to swap. Um, so yeah, but RSI and MACD on its own, I don't think is really quite enough. So what I found, I think, and the way I would be using this indicator is I would combine Bollock Scalper with Bollock bands. So for example, here, for the green lines here, the green line is where you swap from Tesla to MicroStrategy, and red is where you swap from MicroStrategy to Tesla. So you can see here it fires a green line. The RSI and MACD is saying that it's time to swap, and so here. The ratio is the worst case scenario would be 1.25. So you swap to MicroStrategy because you're expecting the ratio to go up. And then the red line here appears, so it tells you to swap back. So that's at this candle here, which is 1.30. So you get about a 0.05 swap from doing that. So that's a good example of where it works. But there are examples where it doesn't work. So for example, here, it's saying well, let's do this one. So this one's saying we swap from MicroStrategy to Tesla. But, this is not a good place to swap because if you'd done that, in swap to Tesla, actually, no, this would have been a good one because it drops there, doesn't it? So you would have been okay there. But anyway, there are times when these signals, I mean, you can go through this yourself and you'll see sometimes these signals fire in the wrong places. And what I would suggest, or what I'm thinking, the way to do this is to combine Bollock Scalper with Bollock bands. So when you see that the ratio is up in the top Bollock band, it means that MicroStrategy is expensive. And when the ratio is down here, it means Tesla is expensive relative to MicroStrategy. So what you could do is you could you see the signal here, and then you make sure you're in the right Bollock band, and then you do the swap. So you wouldn't want to be swapping to Tesla when we're down here, and you wouldn't want to swap to MicroStrategy when we're up here. And also maybe you might want to look at where you are exactly. If you might be in the Bollock band, the bottom one, for example, but you're not really like massively into it. You're kind of at the top of it, so that's maybe not a great place. But if you're outside of the Bollock band, that's probably, really good time to swap. So um, yeah, that's just how I'm thinking about it. Also, you got the trend line here. Obviously, on the 30-minute, the trend line becomes a bit more. There's a bit more noise, so you've got to be a little bit careful there. But it's just another clue as to that it might be a good time to swap. And then finally, you've got the Z-score. So as I mentioned with Bollock bands, the Z-score is just another metric we can use to determine how likely we are to mean revert back to change direction. So when you see a Z-score of 2.5 or minus 2.5, the chances are we're going to head in the opposite direction pretty soon. So yeah, basically combining these two together, it gives you kind of like five indicators. You've got RSI MACD with the Bollock Scalper, and then you've got the trend line, and you've got the Bollinger Bands or the Bollock Bands, and you've got the Z-score. So if all of these five indicators are telling you one thing, it's probably going to give you a good success rate. Another thing that I was thinking about was that you don't necessarily want to use the Bollock Scalper as your entry and exit signals. What you could do is you could use it as an entry. So you swap one direction. So let's say you swap here at 1.2, let's say 1.25, and then you would just wait. So you could exit here at 1.30, but you're only the bottom of the Bollock band and the trend line hasn't changed color. So you could manually just ignore these signals here and just hold the trade until you see that you hit the top of the Bollock band and the trend line changes here. So this is just I guess you're moving out of scalping and day trading territory and back into kind of, I mean, what would that time range be? Wednesday until Thursday. Well, I mean, it's only over a day. Yeah, so maybe that is the way to do it. I mean, on the half an hour time frame, that is actually still a 24-hour trade. Cool. Yeah, I haven't tested this. I don't know if it's actually any good or not. And I mean, if it's bad, don't blame me. These are James's RSI and MACD settings. Um, but I thought it's interesting just to add it as another tool to my arsenal of trading tools. Hopefully, found that useful. Please let me know if you've got any questions or feedback, or any suggestions to how to improve it. Yeah, but for now, thanks everyone. Catch you later. Bye.